Once again, Oliver, welcome from the bottom of my heart. It's a great honor, actually more than an honor, that you take your time and you're here for this.
Thank you so much. I feel very honored also and really blessed to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah. And I said before we started recording, I could hype you 5 minutes, but I think 5 was a little, like I could do it 15 minutes. That's why I'm really honored that you're here. I mean, we have a beautiful journey that we've been going almost 1.5 years. And for everybody who doesn't know Oliver yet, I just want to hype him to the stage, really, like, woohoo! I'm so happy you're here. Yeah, well, Oliver is a mentor for high frequency business owners, and he supports his clients to reclaim their pure power in creation. And I can underline that. So, and there's a coherence between their spiritual evolution that you support people with and their entrepreneurial success. And yeah, I think that is the special bridge that you're bringing people really together in. And I guess there's so much more. And I encourage everybody who's watching, who's listening, to listen and see beyond the spoken words, because I know this is a really fruitful and really beautiful space. So, Oliver, once again, so good you're there.
Aho, thank you so much for the invitation, yeah, and for the introduction also. It's been really such a beautiful journey also that we've been on, and such a joy to see you again and also to see you blossoming and here with the podcast, creating beautiful things in the world. So really delighted to be a part of it.
Yeah, and everybody who does know, we've known each other like 1.5 years now, and I still remember so clearly, like it's really restored in my body or somewhere, as I first time was on an introductory call with you, because Oliver has been mentoring me a long time. And I remember, I guess it was just you opening the Zoom, and I was like, that's it. Like no words needed, nothing. And I remember crying almost the whole introductory call. I'm like, okay, what's happening? This is home. And yeah.
And this is just so beautiful. I also remember this moment, and the whole work has been like this. And it has been also a reference point for me, just how good it can get to work with somebody and to bridge exactly those elements that you said in the introduction. Yes, we are working on success. Yes, we're working on the business, but it all comes through a profound state of deeper embodiment of the soul and really, doing it as a soul tribe together. And yeah, like with our soul family and soul friends, like we are also for each other. There's this instant recognition.
Yeah.
And I feel that is what we've come here to create, to really enjoy and delight us in our creations and do powerful things in the world, but really from this place of delight and bliss, ultimately.
Would you like to speak some few words more, what you do and how do you work with people?
I mean, so my journey has been a little bit, I've come more from the world of business. I used to work in business. I used to work in the financial industry. Very ambitious. I was sales director in a finance company, very young. And with that, I kind of fulfilled my goal. I thought a little bit like the goal of life was to have a cool title on my business card. That was like my dream. And then I had it and I realized I felt empty inside, and there was a deeper calling, and my meditation practice was really calling me, like my soul somehow had a different desire for my life. And then I quit and I went full-time meditator, full-time yogi, spent a lot of time in caves, a lot of time in solitude, and finding somehow answers to the questions that I was holding inside. So now what I'm doing is to bring the two together, and I'm still good with business, and I think that's a bit of a blessing and a curse sometimes. Because my soul is burning for the liberation of the soul, and for liberating the spiritual heart, the infinity that is expressing itself through all of us, everybody who's here, everybody who's listening, every living thing. It is the same life process that is expressing itself like a beautiful flower growing open and blossoming. It is the same. And this is what my heart is burning for. And then the business is kind of a vehicle. And so about the work, just quickly, yeah, I feel the essence of this is a recognition on the soul level of the people I work with, recognizing who you are and recognizing what are the gifts that you have come here to share on a deep level. And just by seeing you, there's a process that happens where you also can recognize yourself in a new light. And with that, there's an increase in your frequency, an increase, a deepening in your consciousness. And then that ripples into, beautiful creations, into business, action, strategy, and so on. But it all starts with recognizing yourself, your pure power.
I remember a moment that was so beautiful. I remember a moment. It was like maybe we had 6 months already together or something, and you had been speaking about the pure power. And then I remember I was walking on a street, and then it was like a thunder, like hitting me, like, that's what he means with the pure power. And I remember you saying that many of your clients come like that. Like,
yeah,
you
I mean,
speak and speak, and then what? Wow, okay.
It's so funny, because a lot of people associate. So my brand name is also Pure Power, and then there's like the pure power kind of, like a big kind of animal or something, or BMW motor, and that's the first association that the mind kind of goes to. And that's also a part of it. I also love this stuff. I'm really into CrossFit. I love also, I used to be a techno DJ. I love the intensity thing. Yeah. But then there's a whole deeper layer there, which is the pure power, which is really our unity with creation and allowing, again, this blossoming open of the flower to just happen and getting ourselves out of the way for something greater to take over. And it's been growing on you, it's been growing on many clients, and it's also growing on myself continuously. So it's also something for me to keep leaning into and keep deepening in my own being.
And there's something beautiful to this that you've been talking about, and it's about that in spiritual circles there's a lot of this. I really loved it. I like your humor anyway. I told you many times. But there was something good that you shared about like people thinking like it's all good and everything's fine and be as you are. And then you call that other aspect in, like there are also things that they are not okay, like stand in your power. And and I think that was like kind of a key moment for me as well. Like how would I describe it? Like not only like petting the people, like it's okay, you're good as you are. And that's definitely something I got out of our co-creation, is like, wow, there is that BMW inside of me that is like on the Autobahn, and it's like, I'm doing this. And this is definitely something that I just really got out of the working together as well. It's so beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah. And for me, I feel a strong connection with Kali, with the goddess Kali. And if we, maybe just a few words about Kali. Yeah? She's the slayer god, the goddess who's carrying a chopped off head in her hand and is walking around with a bloody sword, yeah? And like a garland of skulls, and really, really fierce, the destroyer of worlds. But what she ultimately destroys is unconsciousness. She's walking through all the worlds, all the realms to destroy lack of consciousness, and then killing people, ultimately in the service of their evolution, in the service of the growth, expansion of consciousness. Now, if we really feel into this frequency, we will feel their love, actually. It's just a very, very fierce frequency of love. And I feel love to be actually a very fierce frequency. It has nothing to do with this fluffy unicorn thing, and like we're saving the planet. It's all good. Yeah, we can save the planet, fine. But there's a bit of a misorientation, I feel, where people put the cause kind of in the front, like I'm here to save everyone and like be nice with everyone and so on. but it's not really coming from love. It's actually coming from a place of wanting to be recognized, wanting to be the savior, wanting to be, you know, good, the good boy, yeah, the good spiritual practitioner and the holy man kind of, or holy woman kind of a thing. But if we feel deeply into this, we may recognize that there's not really this sense of a really, really pure, clean love, but actually a contraction in the body, and this grasping, pleasing. And I feel, in my experience, this is the work that part of the work that we have come here to do, is to just be more and more attentive to those little shifts in frequency in our own being. Okay, right now, am I really coming from a place of love? Do I feel my heart? Do I feel my connection to all that is? Yeah, and like even in this moment, as somebody's listening to this, you can check in with yourself. Do you feel the infinitude that is you? Yeah, you are the eternal one. You are the eternal soul. Do you feel it in this moment? Or is everything contracted and I'm just kind of trying to be and trying to be nice and, you know, saying nice words to everyone and, you know, actually contracted inside? And this, I feel, is the difference.
And this leads to something that I see also that is a real gift here, is about the famous sentence, know who you truly are. And I mean, I guess we both see many people that are running successful businesses and running and being successful, but I see there's that, I nowadays call it the grace of God, that still wants to enter the game on another level. And that will spice up kind of the whole thing, the whole experience, even to realms that were not even possible to think of.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk about this with you, but I kind of sense that the transition that you have been also going through, and I've been going through that as well at the moment, I feel there's such grace entering the game. And I feel like this is like the real gem, or this is like the real gold for anyone who's already super successful and is doing it all and having it all. But there's still that one kind of thing that is like, oh, but that only one thing can be only felt with the true surrender to God, to all that is, and that is the true grace.
And this is just this is so profound, and we could speak about all the different aspects of this probably for many hours. But I really also feel it like this. It's such a beautiful mystery that we have here as incarnate human beings, to meet ourselves and to really be with this question, okay, who am I on all the different levels? And we will find that we will not come to an answer, we will not come to a conclusion. It's actually the only question. I don't know who said this. I think maybe Osho said this, or one of the saints. Who am I is the only question that, instead of giving you an answer, it destroys the person questioning it. It dissolves the person asking. Yeah? Because there's no answer. Our essential nature is infinity. It is the ineffable. And there's a reason why also at the core of all religions, they say that God should not be put into words. Yeah? Like, for example, in Christian religion, it's one of the statements, yeah, that you shouldn't describe God. Why? Well, because God cannot be described, like this ultimate frequency inside. It's not about, again, being a good boy or a bad boy, or good in, school, or you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But the original point was that this frequency is beyond words. So whatever we say, it's already untrue, because we cannot describe this. Yeah. So trying to meet ourselves with this question and really inquiring into our own being, looking in our own experience, I find it such a beautiful, mysterious portal into, I don't even know into what. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what all of this unpacks into. I'm also in the process. Like now you mentioned the transition that I'm going through. We decided with my now ex-partner and myself, we decided to separate after 4 years of an incredible relationship, which has opened so much for me. And I'm so grateful for everything that we've shared. And we decided to separate. Now, coming back to this point, yeah, it's this question, okay, who am I? And now the separation gives me a completely new way again to meet myself, because it's making space to something within myself that I didn't express beforehand, and that I was kind of holding back and trying to fit into the circumstances, fit into the relationship. But now it's free, and I'm again with this question, okay, who am I actually? What do I actually really want? Completely new playing field. What am I going to play? What am I going to do? And there's new energetics that come alive in the body, old tension opening up, new things coming online, new frequency, new connection. It is so wonderful, actually, so amazing to be alive and to have this opportunity to meet ourselves.
And I said to you before we started, and I'm like, I've been sensing that super beautiful radiance and that grace that you now described. Would you like to share, like you said, that there was space for new. So what do you sense? What is the new?
Yeah, it's like one of those things. So this decision to separate feels like a massive initiation into trust. I had like an inner voice somewhere, we can call this an intuition, or that somehow said, this is wonderful, the relationship is wonderful, and it's not going to last forever. Something in me had this sense, we're here to do something together and it will end at some point. And I had this sense already for a while, and I tried everything that you can try to make it go away. I mean, like everything. If you look at the book of, okay, how can we do inner alchemy practices, like whatever, you know, like I did it. I did everything. We hired the most amazing support. We did, and it was all good. We learned a lot through the process, but this voice never quite fundamentally changed. So then to end the relationship was probably the hardest decision that I've ever taken, because there's so much love between us and we shared something so beautiful, and nothing happened. There was no fight, there was no drama, like, yeah, no reason like this. And in that, there's now the space to really allow this voice to take more space, again with this question, okay, who am I? Like, yeah, what is this part of me? What do I want? Yeah, what do I want? And I see that I don't want this relationship for life, for marriage, for kids, for all the thing. And so now something is opening up. Okay, and what is this? What is this aspect of myself? What does it want? Where does it want to go? So that's the process that is happening at the moment.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing it so openly. I just also said before we started, it's so beautiful how you've been navigating, and also you both sharing this. I feel already that has such a good ripple effect to everybody who's seeing that.
Yeah. And maybe just another word on this. It's not the first kind of initiation like this that I've had in my life, even though so far the most potent one. But I see more and more that I know actually deep down what is truthful for me and what's not. And I see that it's not only me, but that we all actually have a capacity and an innate sense for truth, because truth connects us to who we are, it connects us to our nature. And I know that in the past, there have also been those moments where I felt, okay, something is just not true. I'm somehow living something that's not fully in harmony with my being. And then the mind goes like, yeah, no, but it's good. It pays good money. It, like all the things. There's safety and security and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I know what I'm getting, sort of a thing. But that's the initiation. It's like, okay, how much do we trust ourselves to move with truth? And what's on the other side? Who knows? Yeah. But we have to trust that we are coming even more deeply home into the arms of the divine if we follow truth. And right now I can say from experience, yes, like that's totally the case. I feel very connected, even though it's challenging, of course, yeah, but I feel very connected with the divine.
I have this beautiful picture. At the same time as you're talking, I see like the whole world, all humans I see at the once. They're the ones who are celebrating, like, yoo-hoo, finally somebody is talking to this. And there are those millions of people who know exactly what you talk about, and they know exactly that there's a deeper truth available. And please, people, everybody who's listening, stop here, go back and listen that again, because there was just some real gold in that for everybody who is. I hear so many of my clients, so many people go, I would love to have that courage. I would love to have that fierce courage just to do it, what I feel right. And voila, here it is.
Yeah, and the whole decision-making process is a training actually in courage. Like you're building it up in this moment. Every time that you revisit it and you're thinking, wow, somehow this doesn't feel true and I'm still doing it. Okay, that's the moment where you're building courage. So that when you take the decision, you are actually that one who is fierce and courageous because you've built it up over the time. And it's kind of like just the final step, the final icing on the cake, so to speak.
Yeah, and this is the point. This is now we're in the sweet spot that I see so many people are in. This is the leap. I mean, this is the leap at the moment as we really have the courage. I see the holy fire burning in, like, I'm doing it. I'm going to do this. Now it's right. Follow. And for me, you are just an embodiment of that fierce courage. And you helped me so much to awaken my holy fire of the fierce courage. And it's so good to be alive with this quality.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. And it doesn't mean that there's no fear. Yeah, I mean, I also want to say this. It's not that we have to wait until we don't feel any fear, then we're going to be waiting forever. It's actually okay. Like there's fear, and still, I decide that's what courage is: standing with fear instead of, only deciding in the absence of it.
Wow, I'm just getting so much as we're talking, like so many things are coming at the same time. And I started like, I mean, this is the potential of the field. I feel like when we come together, and I mean, this is more than us coming together here. And I feel like this is, again, if we need statements, actually, we don't need any statement, but this is yet another statement for that this is it. This is the direction that we are going to as humans. This is like, for me, it's normality already, but I know if somebody's listening and you're like, I don't know how to do that, then there's availability to learn that. But I see like huge portals of some most beautiful kingdoms opening on earth as we get to embody and live this.
So beautiful. Absolutely. And I'd love to quote one of my main teachers on this, Sahajananda, my meditation teacher, who says so beautifully, it is the truth that reveals the truth. Wow. And I'm like, yes. People come and they ask, okay, how can I feel more connected to the divine? I don't understand what you say when you say that there is bliss pulsating through the heart. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by feeling the infinitude of our being? Yeah, like those questions. Well, the key is to allow truth into the life, and it will open truth with a capital T. But it starts with a small t. Yeah, like, okay, this thing that I'm doing, it doesn't actually correspond to who I truly am. Like, yeah, the job that I have, or the whatever relationship, or how I'm running my business, or whatever it may be. Yeah, for the person listening, perhaps. Yeah, okay, something doesn't correspond. So then it starts with a small truth. Okay, something needs to happen here. And like this, we clean up inside and we make space for the big truth to reveal itself. Exactly those castles that you're talking about. Yeah. And I mean, I can only say I keep being so amazed by life. And it's so fresh, this space in the heart. And it is all I've ever wanted, and it keeps deepening more and more the more I allow truth into my life. And I know I'm just scratching the surface.
There's a question that drops in, and it is, what is the meaning of your life?
I feel it is the realization of the true nature of divinity in my own being, and the devotion to that. I'm realizing more and more in my life, the more that I'm cultivating truthfulness, also fierceness, courage, warrior qualities, the more I become soft in the heart. And there is such a deep devotion in my heart. Like even now I'm tearing up a bit, because there's just such a deep devotion to life and to this spark that is creating us in every moment. And I feel that is the purpose, to celebrate this, to praise this, to bow to this, to please the Lord, if we want to use this language, with every word, every action, every thought, ultimately. So life is really a devotional practice. It's a practice of self-recognition, coming home to our true nature, and celebrating in devotion. We've come here together as eternal beings, and we're here to support each other on this way home, to, like Ram Dass said so beautifully, we're here to walk each other home, and to sing and to dance and to do beautiful things, to build powerful businesses, but from that same place of joy inside, in service, in love.
So what is for you at this moment the highest vision for the whole planet, actually, for all human beings?
I don't actually have one. I know a lot of people and many great channels and so on, they channeled like a vision for the new earth, or kind of going in this direction. And I respect that, and I honor that, and I resonate with many. And I actually don't have that so much. I feel, when I feel into the greatest depth imaginable, I just somehow come into a space that is beyond and before the world. And I just feel somehow this, yeah, it's so hard to put words to this, but this enormous well, it's a frequency that's not a frequency. It's a light that's not really a light. It's a and it's so deep and so profound, and it's before all the manifestation and all the things that we move through. So my highest vision is that we meet there together and we keep deepening this. And like I shared a few minutes ago, I feel I'm barely scratching the surface on this. So and I've had experiences where this keeps deepening and keeps deepening. Every year this keeps deepening. So that's, I feel, my vision, that we meet in the heart, in the spiritual heart.
Would you be open to take 1 minute and invite everybody who's listening with us to that space?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just everybody who's there, who is here with us. We invite you to dwell, to come to this space beyond.
And I'll invite you specifically, as you close your eyes and just maybe take a deeper breath, relax, to just look into your own being and ask yourself, what has never changed inside of me? Because your essential nature has never changed. You have always been in union with the divine, even before birth. So all the thoughts, emotions, sensations, they're constantly moving, so they are not the truth of your being. And behind it all is a space that doesn't change, which cannot be described, just like an awake presence, field of grace, profound love, at the same time, total detachment, the spiritual heart.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There's something I would love to share. And you were hosting a weekend called Awaken last summer, taking part of it. And there's something really profound that happened that touches actually on this spiritual heart, the depth of beyond it all. And I would love to share it because it was really inspired me and sparked something in me that that I see here as well. So that's the part that you also spoke at the beginning as we started this this conversation here, was the I don't remember the exact words you said, but somehow that, yeah, first of all, we walk each other home, that you said later, but that co-creation that happens in these places. And so in that moment, in that weekend you hosted, there was a moment that you were guiding a breath journey or something like that. And I remember how profound change in my being that actually was. Because for the first time in my life, I awakened to that everything else dropped. Anything that would be like me being the one who is mentored and you are the mentor, or you are the coach and I was coached, or I am the mentor and I have mentees. This kind of pedestal thing, I guess it's called pedestal, that sometimes we have, like, okay, now we buy this service from this and I go there and I am there, you know. And I had that first in our container as well. I was like, okay, now I am the one who is mentored here. And then happened that profound change as I dropped into that space and I realized, oh my God, there's a whole another level of co-creating in the infinite field. Because in that journey specifically, I felt like, I guess I remember I told you that, but it felt like every piece of music you played was somehow connected to my life. And every word you said in a journey, I was just laying there and I was like, it's me talking to myself. And I remember I went out of that and I was like, okay, from now on, nothing is same anymore, because I see you are me for the first time. And I dropped away from the space, making me, I was maybe, to be honest, I was making me like smaller and okay, he knows anyway better. And I think this happens a lot in mentorships and coaching relationship, that, okay, coach is saying what do we do? And that dropped it. And I feel like there was a whole another era of me allowing to happen through this field that we opened together. And why I share this is that because that is the space that you guided us just before, or the spiritual, that was the space. And what creations can be born out of that? I mean, there we are playing with infinity, really, like with the full quantum field.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, so beautiful. Thanks for sharing this. Yeah. And I'm always amazed because I don't know what's happening or what's going to come through in the breath work and the practices, or even in a conversation like this. It's not that something is prepared or something like this, but every time it is just quite different, and it really depends on who's there. And somehow there is this profound co-creation where, yeah, there's people in the room, and somehow we are meeting in this space, and it informs everything that happens. It's like a ceremonial space, really. And again, that's indeed where we started the conversation. I feel that this is how we are supposed to do business also, and how we're supposed to work. It is with people with whom we really come into a field where there's more than the sum of our parts. Like, you and me being here is not 1 + 1 = 2, but it's 1 + 1 = I don't even know how many. Yeah, because there's somehow something that unlocks just through being in the presence of the people who are really meant to be, who we are meant to co-create with. And yeah, I feel that's what's available for us. Yeah, what's a lot of fun also.
And that's the fun part. And as you spoke about the pure devotion that comes, it's the joy of being in devotion, or joy of living in full devotion.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful how it gets to unfold. And I really want to speak to this because I see a lot of mentorships and a lot of these kind of places where there's something even more available. As we drop all the layers that we need to be something, or we need to do something, or we need to whatever. I mean, with you, I learned also that because we were so long together, I learned a lot of layers of what actually a mentorship is all about. And there's such a depth once we, as the one who's participating, or my clients participating, mine or whoever, if we really give a full permission to go full in.
Yes, it's again this question, of what is the real truth of each one, and I must say, for me, it's also been a process. I'm also moving through this, of course, the same questions, where I also thought, especially for much of last year, 2023, that I needed to somehow be something a bit different. And I went more into business coaching because, and that's why I said like some time ago, it's a blessing and a curse that I'm good with business, because there's obviously a gift there. But somehow I started to think that in order to bring more value to my clients, I need to bring more of my business knowledge somehow to bear and bring them better results in the business through strategy and things that we would do. And so I also went into this tunnel of somehow putting on a bit of a mask and feeling like, okay, I'm really a business coach. I'm really here to support businesses. And so until I also realized, and this has been quite recently, of course, also been a bit of a process, but quite recently, really the full realization that that's actually not the truth of who I am, not the truth of how I'm here to serve, and also not the best work that has happened with my clients. So yeah, I feel the invitation is really for everyone, no matter if you're receiving, if you're giving a service, if you're just constantly to check in, okay, what is my truth here? What really puts me into co-creation, and where does it start to feel flat and the consciousness kind of goes a bit yeah, into this congested space.
I love that. And there's just something that comes that I felt that also, and I guess it was November or something, as I allowed myself to be the best friends with my clients, to call them as my sisters and brothers, and that was a profound allowing of something that I thought earlier I needed to be more professional, and I couldn't, like, there was still that little barrier. And I guess it was you again somehow pointing that out, like, how would the most natural way of you would be here. And then I just started hyping everybody, because I hype a lot. So I started hyping even more. I started like loving them even more. And I just started saying to each and every of my clients that I really deeply love you. And that is, I think that is something that you shared here also.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, I feel there's a big shift in really starting to see also the divine in the people we work with, the people we see, and the people we meet, even every day, yeah, in the cafe, and the whatever, in the Uber, yeah, and really speaking like this. I am perfect, whole, and complete in myself. You are perfect, whole, and complete, and we can meet on that level instead of all the little, self images of, okay, I try to be professional now, kind of by forcing it, or I try to do like this, or I try to do like that. And it's actually so nice because we are so individuated when we do this. It's like we're coming home into our essence, but at the same time, we're coming home into our individuality. Just an example on this, yeah? I love to share long voice notes with my clients on Voxer, and they send me long voice notes, and we've had many conversations where we would be, like speaking for quite a while on Voxer, like 7 minutes here, 7 minutes there, like that. And I'm just loving it. And then I tried also for a time to be more concise and try to say everything in 30 seconds. And yeah, but like it's just blocking the natural flow. Yeah, those forced things. And of course, there's a striving for excellence. And I think we all have this inside. So when we allow this, anyway, we're becoming more and more excellent with how we serve. In truth, excellence happens naturally. It doesn't have to be forced like that, I feel.
I'm just like, there's a laugh inside of me, because actually this is so simple. And this is, I mean, we come back to the biggest joke of life, that actually everything is so simple. God is so simple. Business is super simple. Life is simple. And now just you speaking this, I remember again how complicated we sometimes make it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I think that's a really nice reflection point always. When life seems complicated, it's not because life is complicated, it's because we're making it so. So, okay, somehow we're avoiding truth, or we're not. Yeah, mostly this. We're avoiding truth somewhere, building our own little barriers.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like asking one last question. You spoke to this earlier, and you said it cannot be answered, but still I want to challenge you to ask this question. So what is God?
Well, so the way I experience it, it's a kind of like a vibrancy of some sorts, like a strongly vibrating field. And I want to say any word that I use is anyway not hitting it. So yeah, it's just an indicator. We cannot describe this because it's not really a field. But anyway, it kind of feels like a strongly vibrating field, which I can access through a specific spot in my body, roughly in the center of my chest, slightly to the right, which has been described as Hridaya, the seat of the heart. But at the same time, it's not localized there. It is also vibrating in everything and everywhere around me. It doesn't have a center, it doesn't have a location. So this point in the chest is like an access point into God. It is a place from which we love other people. And as we follow it, it actually expands into a vibrancy that doesn't have a center. So it is everywhere. It is always there. It is vibrating. It is alive. It is awake. It is somehow like a background for all the particles, all the things, all the thoughts, all the emotions. And there's an ecstasy there, a silent ecstasy. A mystery, yeah.
Beautiful. And it's so in the air here, so everybody who's here, so get in. Okay, Oliver, just now the stage is yours. Tell about where people can find you. What are your maybe upcoming programs? Everything.
Yeah, super happy to connect. The easiest way will be on Instagram. You can find me Oliver the Pure Power on Instagram. And upcoming things. Well, I'm creating a new mastermind depending when this is going to be released. There's a new mastermind coming, which is really a high frequency business mastermind. So everything that we spoke about today, we will deepen. We will deepen into God frequency. We will deepen into recognizing our own frequency as an individuated being, and at the same time in union with everything. And then do the work of carrying that really precisely and really actionable into business, into our speech, into our communication, into how we serve in the world. So that's the next big thing that I'm creating. Super happy to welcome people on board. Just write me a message and we can speak about it. And then also, yeah, I think that's probably the main thing at this point. You also mentioned the breathwork journeys. There's an opportunity if somebody just kind of wants to get a taste of feeling what we described today, they can also sign up for an individual pure power activation through my profile.
Yeah, the breath journeys are really amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it's really potent stuff. It's like full on, yeah, full fire.
Wow, it's been an honor. I feel like this could continue long.
Indeed, yeah.
So much joy to be together. And I just once again want to say that it's been amazing today, but it's been amazing since 1.5 years to just co-create. I would use the word co-create here. And I've grown to a whole another person through all of this. And I'm just sometimes looking at myself like, did I really become that I am today?
Oh,
and
so nice. Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, well, seems like it's true.
How wonderful. Yeah, how wonderful. Yeah, again, thank you so much for the invitation. It's been a real privilege, not only today, but also the whole journey to be with you and to witness this and to co-create. And yeah, really, really very, very beautiful. I feel very honored.
Thank you.